Music is everywhere. Playing in coffee shops, on hold lines, Ubers, in your earbuds while you work. You've seen me wear my earbuds here on this channel. It's so constant, we often treat it like harmless background music, but the brain really doesn't. Whether we realize it or not, music is processed across multiple regions in the brain tied to attention, memory, and emotion, meaning even passive listening can impact how we focus, feel, and make decisions. Background music is never really truly in the background. It either supports or competes with your mental state, and that means we do have a choice. Do we work with it, or do we try to suppress it in some way or modify it in some way to suit our needs? In today's fast-paced work culture, where multitasking is the norm and focus is scarce, how can we use music to either support our goals, but even the most earnest of that support can lead to sabotaging those goals? So the good news, with just a little intention, your playlist really can become one of the most powerful productivity tools that you have. Music is a productivity tool. I think a lot of people know that, of course. The key isn't whether you listen to it, it's how. And there's a difference between active listening and what I call purposeful passive listening. Both are powerful, but for different reasons. Active listening is fully engaging with the music, tuning into the melody, rhythm, lyrics, harmony. It's nearly impossible to multitask during this kind of listening, and that's the point. We use active listening when we need to regulate stress, reset our emotions, or refocus. Breathing with a steady beat or allowing a favorite instrumental piece to quiet your inner noise can activate the brain's attention and regulate its emotional tie-ins, I guess. Over time, practicing this kind of deep listening can even strengthen interpersonal relationships, and it helps reinforce our capacity to tune in to others. Purposeful passive listening, on the other hand, involves choosing music to support a task or shift in your mental state without really focusing on it. This is not about letting an algorithm autoplay. It's about intentionally selecting tracks, maybe some lo-fi while cleaning out your inbox, or ambient sounds while brainstorming. And this kind of listening taps into the brain's, I think, default mode network, the system that activates during daydreaming, introspection, and incubating ideas, fomenting ideas. Engaging in this default mode can help one step back from focused work and allow space for insight, creativity, and thinking along lines of a big picture, whatever you're working. Now, when used intentionally, music in the background becomes a bridge between tasks and a subtle support system for imaginative work. Music also plays a very surprising role in executive function, the cognitive control system that helps us switch between tasks, regulate impulses, and manage our working memory. Now, background music can enhance learning by improving arousal and mood, which are closely linked to our cognitive performance. Listening pattern music that is familiar while working can help create structure for the brain, making transitions smoother and sustained attention much more accessible. Now, it's why some people instinctively reach for a playlist before writing an email or prepping for a meeting or transitioning into a different type of work block, for example. And it goes a little bit deeper. Have a go-to song that gives you a burst of energy, or you need for that rush that you really have to charge into something. Just don't save it for the gym. Drop it in the middle of your workday, right before a presentation, during an afternoon slump, or when motivation dips somewhat. And when you use the same song consistently with a particular task, your brain starts building an association. Now, over time, the music becomes a cue, like a mental shortcut into a focused or energized state. Maybe it's Queen's "We Will Rock You" before a big pitch, or "River Flows in You," the name of the song, for concentration. Music activates the brain's reward system, releasing, of course, dopamine. We've all heard of it, the same neurotransmitter associated with motivation and pleasure. The more consistently we attach meaning to a song, the more powerful its effect becomes. Music isn't something we hear. It's something that actively shapes the state of our brain, our cognitive production. And when used with intention, sound becomes a strategy for recovery, for focus, for connection, for creativity. And in a world full of noise, it's not about turning the music off. It's about tuning in. And here are 5 ways that you can use music more intentionally, say in the workplace. Number 1, create a 3-track playlist, 1 for focus, 1 for a reset, and 1 to energize. I think you'd be surprised at how kind of compartmentalizing these aspects in a playlist can help you achieve your overall goal. Number 2, pair a consistent song with a task you want to build into a habit, like prepping for something, prepping for a meeting, like writing, or even unwinding. That association can make it a lot easier to transition into that task. Number 3, avoid music with lyrics when doing language-based tasks like writing or reading. And that really goes without saying. We want to think about language and how it increases our productivity without having to compete, as I talked about a little bit earlier, with music used in such a manner. So avoiding heavily lyricized songs can help. Number 4, use instrumental or ambient music to transition between meetings or block your day. Those lo-fi beats we talked about, for example, to give our brain time to switch tasks mentally so that we get ready to psych ourselves out, as it were, for that next type of cognitive transition. And finally, number 5, try bookending your workday with music. Use the same track to start and end and signal your brain into a productive rhythm. That bookend will say, this is the way I start my day. 1 foot in front of the other, and with this track, this is the way I end my day. As I get ready to basically not really shut your brain down, but really take a much needed pause before just completely unwinding for the day with a track that says, hey, it's okay to do that. See you tomorrow morning. And with a little intention, your daily soundtrack, using all of these methods and what I've discussed, can become one of the most effective tools for getting things done and feeling better while doing it. I'm Michael Douglas. If you like what you see here on the channel, please don't hesitate to like and subscribe. And as the late great Barry White always used to say, let the music play, and I'll see you on the next episode.